Gajendragadkar.
I request His Lordship, Justice Dr. Dhananjay Chandrachud, Judge High Court of Bombay, to please deliver us a lecture.
I hope everybody can hear me there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Principal of the Law College, Ms. Pawar, all the members of the managing committee, Mr. Gajendragadkar, who is my childhood friend, students, distinguished invitees, the district judge, all the members of the bar and the bench. At the outset, I must apologize for not being with you in person today in the sense of being physically present. But I believe that in the world of virtual reality that we all live in today, contact through an electronic form of communication is as significant or as relevant, particularly in the times in which we live. The reason why I can't be with you today is because of my having overestimated my own abilities. We had a cricket match between judges and lawyers last week in the Bombay High Court, and while practicing for the cricket match, I have sprained my back. I sprained my back so badly that I was not able to go to court for 2 days. My wife told me just the other day that merely because you have completed half a century of your life does not mean that you can emulate Sachin Tendulkar and score half a century on the cricket ground. And she reminded me that it is only when you are yet to complete a quarter of a century in your life that you can complete half a century on the cricket ground. I'm really very sorry that I couldn't be there, because it would have been a pleasure to be with you in person. Particularly because the Moot court which is being inaugurated today is in honor of one of the most distinguished judges of the Bombay High Court, one of the most distinguished judges of the Supreme Court, and one of the most distinguished citizens of our nation. We are meeting here this morning to mark the inaugural of a Moot court dedicated to the memory of Dr. Justice P.B. Gajendragadkar, the former Chief Justice of India, former judge of the Bombay High Court, a Vice Chancellor of the University of Mumbai, a social reformer par excellence, and a very learned human being, learned not only in the law, but a person who was learned in religion, in social reform, in economics, in sociology, and in literature. As a child, Dr. Justice Gajendragadkar's grandson Ashok Jagirdar and I grew up in the shadow, as it were, of this very great banyan tree which we were very fortunate to be a part of. My father, Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, regarded Dr. Justice Gajendragadkar as his own mentor and guru, and for valid reason. When my father came to Mumbai to practice law in 1943 from Pune, he had no godfather. He came and stayed in a chawl in the heart of central Mumbai, and my mother had to carry buckets of water on her head every morning to ensure that the family could have water to meet its needs He knew no one in the city of Mumbai, and he was driven only by a desire to succeed in a bar which was intensely competitive, a bar on the appellate side of the Bombay High Court which had stalwarts. It was at that time, when Justice Gajendragadkar became a judge of the Bombay High Court, that he identified in a young Justice Y.B. Chandrachud a lawyer with potential, and whom he and Chief Justice Chawla trained virtually with their own hands to develop into a young man of professional excellence. In a sense, Justice Gajendragadkar was repaying to society the debt which he had received from the judges of the Bombay High Court who had preceded him. And I mention this because it is very important in the times in which we live to pass on to the next generation the blessings which we have received from our forebears, and not to forget the ladder which we have climbed. Justice Gajendragadkar's biography by Mr. V.D. Mahajan, it's really a collection of his writings, tells us of an incident when he came to the Bombay High Court on the first day, and he had to argue for the respondent in whose favor a decree for partition had been passed by the district court at Satara. The other side was represented by a very eminent member of the bar, Mr. G.N. Thakur, and he had applied for stay of execution of the decree. When the case was called out, the lawyer for the other side said that though the paper book has been served on the other side almost 3 weeks ago, there is no counter affidavit to my application for stay. That means I am entitled to a stay of the execution of the decree. When Justice Lalubhai Shah, who was hearing the case called upon Dr. Justice Gajendragadkar, he was Mr. Gajendragadkar at that time, he says that I couldn't find many words to argue what I had to argue in the court. But the judge, looking at his predicament, said, well, I'll adjourn the matter so that you can file a reply. Justice Gajendragadkar was asked, how long would you take to file a reply? He says, I could not even understand, how long I should take to file a reply. So he said, please give me 1 week. So the judge smiled at him and said, well, I'll give you 3 weeks' time. And when after 3 weeks the case came up for hearing, the judge granted a stay of the execution of the decree only in regard to the movable property, but declined to stay the rest. So he begins an account of his early life by referring to these blessings which he received from the elders in the profession. I think it is important for our youngsters to know that our society today survives, and the stable foundations of our society are based on what we have received in terms of tradition, conventions, and values from those who have preceded us. We live in an age of modern technology, and in the age in which we live, the mantra of the moment is that you discard a mobile phone every 6 months or every 1 year. But the values which we receive are quite different from the expedition which technology gives us. Technology changes every 6 months. Every concept in technology gets outdated before you can even bat an eyelid. But the values of a society do not become obsolete. The values of a society continue, and they continue to exist because of the lives of women and men like Justice Gajendragadkar, who gave the best years of their lives to the pursuit of truth and to the pursuit of justice. Justice Gajendragadkar was born in Satara. He belonged to a family of scholars. One of his elder brothers was in fact a Vaidya who practiced his discipline in Satara. One of his brothers practiced in the courts in Satara. Justice Gajendragadkar originally belonged to Dharwad, a place called Gajendragad, and he spent His years completing his BA, his MA and his law thereafter in Pune. He became a judge in the Bombay High Court, was elevated as a judge of the Supreme Court. And the law reports are replete with the manner in which this very distinguished judge of our times crafted the law, whether it be industrial adjudication, whether it be criminal law, whether it be the pursuit of constitutional law and human liberty. There is no branch of law which Justice Gajendragadkar left untouched in his mighty pen. Such was his command over the law. You know, my late father, Justice Chandrachud, Chandrachud as he is very fondly known as in Maharashtra, used to tell me a story when I was a young lawyer about Justice Gajendragadkar. Justice Gajendragadkar had not really had much work in criminal law when he was a lawyer.